Good evening, everyone. Just let me know if you can hear me and if the volume is okay. It's Sunday, December 9th, not December, January 9th, 2022. So we're going to talk about Kazakhstan tonight. I think it's fairly significant. And I've been doing a lot of research on that part of the world the last few days. I had an inkling of what's going on. And of course, we hear what's going on in what the mainstream media tells us. So yeah, as usual, I'm a little earlier than 9 o'clock. So we'll say hello to everyone. Cheshire Yeoman, good evening. Jillian B, Grow Mechanic, Alias Jones, Jojo Coast 64, Dave L, Aaron Levy says loud and clear, that's good. Jason Warner, hi Jason. MW351 says in the States we have some protests and loaded doesn't change anything, everything remains the same. Alain Roy from Montreal, au Canada. Ben Gray from Cardiff. Oceania is at war with Astasia, says MM126. Carthago delanta est CIA op. I'm not too sure about that, to be honest, Carthago, and we're going to come to that. I think there's more questions than answers to what's going on in Kazakhstan, I would say. Mike G says, good to see you. Happy New Year. And Bally's on the ball. Okay. Cupid Stunt. Hi, Cupid Stunt. Scroopy Noopers. Arkibilla Surfacing from British Columbia. Scott McCutcheon from El Paso, Texas. Hallmark DeSantis. Smash the like buttons, yeah. Flying Dutchman, what is the city of Astana, fool? Yeah, we're going to look into that. Actually, that it's not called Astana anymore. It's called Nur Sultan. They've changed the name of the capital of Kazakhstan. The great Smeagol, hi, nice to see you. Ray Roripa from Mexico. Matthew says hello. Connor Monnery, hi Connor. Meddlers in Kazakhstan. I'm not too sure, you know. I haven't come to any conclusions, and I've got more questions than answers, and I think it's more complicated than it seems. Yeah. So we got a few more minutes until we start. Not Joe King says he's currently at work. All right. Hopefully you won't get in trouble for watching YouTube. Alan Zibelman says Kazakhs are true Turks. Yeah, but the population there is like about 20 to 23% Russian as well. It's a bit of a melting pot, I would say. The other thing about Kazakhstan, and I'll start into it from what I've seen, and I've known this for a long time. It's the biggest landlocked country on earth, and it's 4.9 times bigger than France. So it's a huge country. Population is about 20 million. And the official languages are Kazakh and also Russian. Russian's used for all the government and bureaucracy, all the official, really the official language there is Russian. Biwar, Biwarikum Stacker, greetings from New Zealand, I guess. I guess it's Monday in New Zealand, yeah. Scroopy Nooper says just another proxy war. There are just moves and counter moves against Xi Jinping's dream of a modernized Silk Road. Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought at first, but just wait until we look at some things and you're going to be surprised. As I said, I think there's more questions than answers regarding Kazakhstan, and it's not as clear cut as we think. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's a color revolution sponsored by George Soros and the globalists, and that the Russians and the Chinese are trying to protect the Silk Road, the new Silk Road. And I thought of that as well, but I've spent the last couple of days doing a bit of research. So it's for you to decide what's going on, but I think it could be significant for the whole world. And I'll tell you why in a minute when we get more people on. So we've got, yeah, I don't think we want this guy here. I'm going to get rid of him, remove him. We don't want that kind of stuff. We're just talking about what's going on, and we're not going on a, we're not going to like insult other people and other cultures. So filthy fake prophet Muhammad is going to be removed. Let's report him. Unwanted spam. All right, so he's out of here. Okay. Yeah, I've taken him out, Alan Zibelman. Gianfranco Bergagna says Soros is behind Kazakhstan. Yeah, maybe. I tend to, it's one of the reasons why I think it's not as clear cut what's going on there. Oh boy. Let's hide him from the channel. Okay, we've hidden him from the channel. Okay. Herbert Sombrero says, thank you. David Bradley, hello, over here. Yeah, I just deleted him. I reported him and then I deleted the message, but I've actually blocked him now from the channel because he kept coming back. Dominic Torres, instead of collecting gold and silver, we should be collecting politicians' heads. I don't think that's the answer, really. The answer is within each one of us to do the right thing. And if we do the right thing, I think we will realize that politicians are really an irrelevance, I would say. We should try to live our lives and be self-reliant. I think that's the problem. Not enough people, the majority of people want to be helped by another, a man on a white horse or a woman on a white horse and a politician. And I think we need to stop that, really. Flying Dutchman says, Mary, keep up the good work. Someone is saying here that they're seeing Masonic buildings burning. That's interesting. I think Kazakhstan is a major Freemasonic center. Some people say that it's conspiracy theory that to think that the Freemasons are involved in all this. And one thing I would say, if Freemasonry was such an open and institution, why they're, if they're doing so much good and charity, why aren't they transparent And I think maybe a lot of Freemasons don't even know what's going on, but the people at the top, I think we need to be careful with that. And we're going to look into what's going on in Kazakhstan, of course. Rumit Sumaya from Scotland. Beautiful day, Lady BDRR. Mary, what's going on with LIBOR at the end of the year? I think, well, I've spoken a lot about LIBOR. I have a LIBOR live stream, a playlist about LIBOR. And LIBOR is just a reference rate used. It's the London Interbank Offered Rate. And the reason they want to get rid of that is because the Bank of England and the City of London, they were caught manipulating that rate during and after the 2008 crisis, and their credibility was shot to pieces. But the bankers in the City of London and Wall Street still use LIBOR as a reference. And a reference for what? Well, for mortgages, for all credit instruments around the globe. And they want to replace it, though, with SOFR, which is what the Fed, New York Fed, has developed, SOFR. But SOFR and LIBOR are completely different. LIBOR is the rate at which banks lend to each other overnight or 1 month, 3 month, unsecured. And SOFR is secured. And the bankers, they've been used for decades to using LIBOR, and it backs hundreds of trillions in derivatives and other credit instruments. And they've been very reluctant to wean off it. And I think the BIS and the central banks, they've let the bankers keep using it because they haven't done the transition to SOFR. So it could be a problem, but I think they're going to keep kicking the can down the road. There's only one way. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you. It's nice to look up to someone who not vaccinated is helping me in this crazy times. You help me keep strong. All right. So let's get to the subject of Kazakhstan. The first thing I want to talk about is geopolitics. And because I thought at first that, well, at first I thought, they're protesting in Kazakhstan because of gas prices. Natural gas prices have gone up. And you can understand why they went up in the last couple of weeks of December last year. A lot of the natural gas that was supposed to be going to Asia they turned around and shipped it to Europe because the prices in Europe were much higher. So it's not surprising that energy prices in Kazakhstan have gone up, even though Kazakhstan has a lot of oil. They have natural gas as well, but a lot of it is oil, and their energy prices went up. And that's what I thought first. And I also thought of geopolitics. So there's a very interesting guy called Halford John Mackinder. He was born in 1861, died in 1947. He was an English geographer, academic, and politician. And he's regarded as being one of the founding fathers of both geopolitics and geostrategy. So that's his name, Halford Mackinder. And then I'm going to skip to one of his theories about geopolitics. And it's one of the things I've always liked a lot since I was a boy is geography. Maybe it's because one of my uncles, when I was maybe 8 or 9, gave me an atlas for my birthday, and I always loved geography. So Mackinder talked about the geographical pivot of history, and this is where the Silk Road comes in. So this concept of the world island and the heartlands. So let's go through this, and then let's look at where Kazakhstan is and why that could be important. So he says the world island comprising the interlinked continents of Europe, Asia, and Africa, Afro-Eurasia, This was the largest, most populous, and richest of all possible land combinations. So basically, the whole of Africa and Europe, and Europe, and Asia. After all, Africa is connected to Asia, near Egypt and the Sinai, I guess, to the Middle East. And then you have the offshore islands, which are the British Isles and the islands of Japan. So the British Isles here and the islands of Japan. Then you have the outlying islands, and Mackinder considered North America, South America, and Oceania, or Australasia, as the outlying islands. So what's the heartland? Well, according to him, the heartland lay at the center of the world islands, stretching from the Volga to the Yangtze River in China, from the Himalayas to the Arctic. So pretty much this pivot area here, as you can see. And so that's the heartland of the world island. And this is what he says here. In 1919, Mackinder summarized his theory. Who rules East Europe commands the heartland. So you need to have control of East Europe. Who rules the heartland, basically here, controls the world island. That's the whole of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Who rules the world island commands the world. So Kazakhstan is right here. It's actually right in the heart of the heartland. And that's why it's such an important geopolitical, geostrategic area. So it's understandable that people think that this is all about the Silk Road. That and I even thought that, I have to be honest. I was thinking about talking about how this uprising has been maybe started out by the CIA or the Soros Foundation to trigger instability and to dismantle this new Silk Road, or One Belt, One Road. But the more I've looked into Kazakhstan and the people in charge there, yeah, it's made me think again. And if anything, it's raised a lot of questions. And so I'm going to continue here now. And some of you have noted already that the capital of Kazakhstan is called Nur Sultan. But up until a few years ago, it was called Rastana, Rastanaa. But now it's called Nur Sultan. And it's a very futuristic looking city, and it's got a lot of symbology, especially how can I say, Freemasonic and the Illuminati, if you want to call it. And this capital city, I think it's got 1 million people population. The biggest city is Almaty. That's where a lot of the uprising, and they've lost almost complete control of that city. That's a bigger city. It's in the south, but this one is the capital. And for example, if you look here, there's a pyramid there. The other symbology, the 2 towers here, that's very Freemasonic. We've even got here enlarged, there's the pyramid. It looks like the pyramid on the dollar bill, right? So you could say, well, this is New World Order. And it looks like it. They even got, like in Paris, the Arc de Triomphe. So I looked at that. I had known about this already, but I hadn't really thought too much of this since the uprising started in Kazakhstan. So, and I did a little, let's see here, I'll bring it up. Another thing that's pretty interesting about Kazakhstan, and I'm gonna share it with you here. And I did a little thing on my, let's have a look. Okay, this is gonna surprise you guys. So I did some more here. As you can see, Kazakhstan, and Nur Sultan Nazarbayev. So who is this guy? Well, he was president from 1991 to 2019. He's considered like still in charge there, the dictator, so to speak, of Kazakhstan. And again, Kazakhstan is 5 times the size of France. It's got like 20 million people, right? And here he is. And we just seen the photos of the capital city, all the geomasonic symbology. And here he is with Tony Blair, and a pretty questionable handshake, Freemasonic handshake, I would say. Some people would say it's not, but it's not a normal handshake. The other thing I would say, he's an honorary Knight of the British Crown, as you can see here. List of current honorary knights and dames of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. That's given by the British Crown. There he is. Nur Sultan Nazarbayev. And the other interesting thing about this guy, if you look here, he was a communist from 1962 to 1991. Do you really think he's not a communist anymore? So that's the other thing to think about. And then you look at this book, and this is a book I'm looking to buy, Grand Orient Freemasonry Unmasked as the Secret Power Behind Communism. I haven't read the book, but it looks really interesting. Maybe some of you have read it. And a little more on the symbology in Nur Sultan, or former Rastana. If you look at this, is a Freemasonic symbolism here. Same thing here. As you can see, the 2 gates, the temple or the government building at the back, as you can see. And then you've got the pyramid and the eagle. It looks pretty much like the dollar bill, doesn't it? So what are we really seeing here? It's really, it's raised a lot of questions to me. And I'm going to come back to Kazakhstan. I have listened to a little bit of reports on RT, on mainstream media, and it's really kicking off. Some people think it's sponsored by George Soros. I am not too sure. Maybe a big part of the population there is fed up. They have an oligarchy. It's corrupt, pretty similar to the West, I would say. So I'll take some of your questions now on Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan recently signed to join the Turkish Republic Union together with the Central Asian and other Turkish republics. Yeah, that would be a problem. Is it any wonder as well that the Turkish lira is under pressure, right? But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. We could be seeing a grassroots uprising against the establishment in Kazakhstan. That's the feeling I get. And you're going to be surprised by another article that I'm going to bring up. So this is the one. This is the one that raised my eyebrows, so to speak. And I'm going to share it with you as quickly as possible. And this is going to surprise you. This is why the title of the live stream is what it is. It says, and this is from January 2020. So it says Kazakhstan to be at center of 4th industrial revolution, battle against climate change. And this is a country that's very rich. This is the Astana Times. I guess that's to do with Rastana, the old capital. Major events shaping Kazakhstan. And this is what is really interesting. It says here, I will start from the beginning. It says the World Economic Forum. We know who's in charge of that, don't we? Klaus Schwab, the globalists, the major corporations. So the World Economic Forum last week has always generated plenty of news and controversy. The main theme this year was the threat of climate change, right? And it says here, so the capital is Astana, not Rastana. I think I got confused. The old name. It was against this background that the agreement signed at Davos between the government of Kazakhstan, the Astana International Financial Center, and the World Economic Forum to develop a new regional innovation hub in Nursultan had added significance. The announcement confirms Kazakhstan's determination to play its full role in helping find the technological solutions to global challenges such as climate change, but also to seize the incredible opportunities opening up. So if you look at that and you think, who are the big pushers behind the World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution? It's not just Klaus Schwab, of course, but the globalist, it's BlackRock, it's the Soros, the internationalists, the Bill Gates of the world. And here we have an article that shows that Kazakhstan is in bed with these people. So is it really George Soros that's trying to get rid of the establishment there, or maybe have the establishment that signed all those deals with the old World Economic Forum, have they changed their minds and they don't want to do that again? I don't know. It's very confusing, as you can see. Why would it be positive if the people of Kazakhstan are actually revolting against the fourth industrial revolution, against the World Economic Forum? Well, that would show that people are waking up, and that would be really positive. So, and why would the Russians be getting involved, or why they're sending troops there? Well, because they have a deal with Kazakhstan and some other countries in the region. They're ex-Soviet Union countries, and it's called the Collective Security Treaty Organization. So it's a treaty, as you can see here, with Russia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. So they're having problem. The Kazakhstan government keeping the state really running and the rule of law. Almaty, the biggest city there, almost 2 million people, they've lost almost complete control of it. So the Russians have sent troops there to help out. But does that mean does that really mean that it's the West trying to disrupt Kazakhstan? I don't know, because it looks like Kazakhstan is deeply in bed with the globalists as well. So it's really confusing, I would say. So I'm going to stop right here. There's Pat asking a question. Just going to have a sip of my water. Pat says, look no further than Putin on this one. He's done this kind of thing before. Uranium is about to skyrocket in price. Putin controls most of supply, including Kazakhstan. Well, yes, Kazakhstan is very strategic. It's got a lot of pipelines coming from Russia through Kazakhstan into Russia, oil pipelines. Yes, they have a lot of natural resources, but I think it's bigger than that, actually. I watched some of the news reports on RT and also DW on YouTube about Kazakhstan. Saw local reporters saying that the energy crisis there is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of wealth inequality, a lot of poverty. You know, you look at the capital, it looks beautiful, but that's just like not a really good picture of the whole country. And one of these reporters said, we've had 2 decades of this oligarchy and people are fed up. So who knows? My conclusion is that we shouldn't really come to too many conclusions right away, and we need to see this run out. And I think there's going to be a lot of people saying the Russians are going to be saying that it's the West and the financial oligarchy going against Kazakhstan. And then the West is going to say that Putin is trying to disrupt it and take back Kazakhstan. Some are going to say, yeah, the West wants to disrupt the One Belt, One Road, the BRICS, New Silk Road, and China. But I think it could be even more. I think it could be completely different. And what we're being told by the mainstream and even the alternative is just a distraction. I think it could be a much bigger challenge to the globalists. Yeah, Putin is a Freemason as well. Yeah. Some people think that people who go on about Freemasons and communism and what's going on is conspiracy theory, but it's very interesting that most of the politicians all around the world, a lot of them are Freemasons, and yeah, maybe the public in Kazakhstan is sick and tired of what's going on there. Maybe it's way above geopolitical tensions between West and East. Who knows? I just saw an article as well on Zero Hedge, and I didn't bring it up, but I'll bring it up now. I'll share it with you. I mean, there's so much going on there and so much speculation. I'll share it right now. And this article actually kind of makes sense. The Hunter connection, Kazakh security chief arrested for treason, was close friends with Biden's. So there you go. It's all very confusing. I wanted to bring up another article that I found, and this is from, let's see, November 2021. So this is very recent. This is because the other article I showed you that Kazakhstan is like in bed with the World Economic Forum, that was from just before the pandemic started in 2020. But this is from November 2021. It says post COP26, Kazakhstan proposes an emerging market model for the green energy transition. So there you go. November was a big month for climate action. Attendant leaders, diplomatic delegations, or recorded measures. Practically every nation had some presence in this month's UN climate change in Glasgow. So this just talks about how the fact that Kazakhstan is taking the lead, in how can I say, playing along with this green energy transition. And it talks about how they've been moving their economy more towards green energy and renewables. And this is what Europe has been doing as well. This is what Germany has been doing. They've been getting rid of their nuclear energy. And I think it's one of the reasons why the people in Kazakhstan have had it up to here, because prices of energy have gone up and they have plenty of energy. And you have the establishment there, the oligarchy, wanting to go into this World Economic Forum, clean energy, climate change, fourth industrial revolution way, right? So what I'm trying to say here, this is actually could be quite interesting. Is it a color revolution? I don't know. We're gonna find out, I think, eventually. Darth Benedict, heard they were suspending bank accounts of unjabbed people. Where's that, Darth Benedict? Well, you're talking about Kazakhstan? I haven't heard that. HZJ79, thank you for your super chat. Starfire Firestar, Kazakhstan. Well, Kazakhstan or Kazakhstan. I don't know how, it just whatever you want to pronounce it. Kazakhstan or Kazakhstan, like Pakistan or Afghanistan, who knows? I think we understand which country we're talking about anyway. Price of uranium should go way up now. Yeah, I saw some headlines about that. Yeah, and there's a lot of things that are going on commodity wise. I think generally speaking, I'm still of the view that hard assets, commodities are I agree with Goldman Sachs. We're in a super cycle, bull market. Commodities and real things are still heavily undervalued versus paper assets. So I think it's a good place to be, but it doesn't mean you're going to make a fortune in the next week or two. It's a long-term thing. And I think it's much more about preserving what you have. Yeah, that's the kind of environment we're going into, I think. The FDI, Mario and Billy, hope you're having a good day. This is going to come out all over the world and people are going to rise up against their government healthcare system. And I do believe Nuremberg. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there are here in the UK, I think there's a doctor here that's doing some good work. I just learned about him a few days ago. And it's funny because they're censoring so many things. Let's see. I forgot now his name, but yeah, I think things are heating up for the powers that be all around the world. They've abused their power, and I think a lot of people are waking up to what's going on, and I think we need to be patient. And I know in Kazakhstan, they're taking things into their own hands. That could be the solution. Who knows? I saw that in Paris yesterday. Thousands of people were protesting under heavy rain with their umbrellas, saying, we are being pissed off. We are pissed off. That's what they said about what Macron said to them. Tim Gibson, thank you for your super chat. Juan Crespo says the NHS is a totally private company. Well, it's funded by the taxpayer, though. And I mean, for the last 2 years, if I want to go see a GP or go to my local NHS, GP practice, I can't. So all they're focusing on is siphoning a lot of tax money into whatever system they're going to evolve. I think it's going to be geared towards virtual consultants, like everything online. The big pharmaceutical corporations, they're raking in all the money. And personally, I could care less about the NHS anymore. My view is that I try to have my own reserves. And if I do need to see a medical doctor, it will be a private one. And I know, unfortunately, I have to still pay national insurance, but it's a waste of money, I would say. And yeah, the other thing that is really important for people to do, and I'm not perfect, but is to try to keep as healthy as possible, to eat as well as possible, and to exercise a little bit. I think that goes a long way to staying healthy. It's not that Dr. Luis Claudio Vernon Coleman. It's another younger doctor. I forgot his name now. Let's have a look if I can find him. Could be. Oh yeah, I found him. Yeah. This is it. Dr. Sam White. I think he worked as a GP in the NHS for 17 years. but now he's like he's won an important case. I highly recommend you check the people in the UK or even all around the world. Check his website, Dr. Sam White. Lucio Delgado says Kazakhstan or Kazakhstan, whatever you want to call it, Kazakhstan arrested some foreigners among the protesters. Who would they be? Well, I don't know. I mean, they're foreigners in every country. You can't really, I would say, deduct anything from that. And I'm going to bring up the Wikipedia on this country, and you're going to look because there's no such thing. It's like a melting pot. That's what I heard from this reporter on the ground there, that it's a melting pot. So you see, you've got 68.5% Kazakh, almost 20% Russian, 3% Uzbek, 1.5% Uyghur, 1.4% Ukrainian. You've got 1% of the population is German. So when you say foreigners, you know, it could all be made up as well. So what I'm trying to say here is that um, we don't really know what's going on there for sure. And I actually think it could be an interesting development over there in terms of the fight against the globalists. Because if you've been watching for the last 30 minutes, you've seen that Kazakhstan, the government there is in bed with the World Economic Forum. So anything that unseats a government or a state that is in bed with the World Economic Forum and the globalists, in my book, is a good thing. And whether the Russians are trying to stop that, well, maybe the Russians are. I think Putin has been at the World Economic Forum. You know, they're all playing along. So, Graham Hobbs, can we have your latest thoughts on Evergrand, Blackrock, Tether? Well, Tether, I mean, I've been looking at that for over 2 years. I remember someone wrote anonymously about Tether, how it's not really backed 1-to-1 with the dollar. It was supposed to have each dollar they held was going to be backed by one Federal Reserve dollar. And we know now that it's only 3% backed, and the rest is commercial paper. Rumor has it that the commercial paper could be, some of it could be Evergrand, the Tether. We don't know though, because they haven't really had a clear audit at Tether. But Tether's still holding the buck. I think people need to keep an eye on Tether. Of course, it's always trading around 1. But the day it drops to like 95 cents, for example, because sometimes it goes to 99 or 101, the day it drops to 95, I think people need to be worried. And it would be trouble for the whole crypto space, because I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have done as well as they have because of Tether. They've created Tether billions out of thin air. They've leveraged those billions 10, 20 times. So it's a huge mess. And yeah, it's only speculation that Evergrande is involved. About BlackRock, I don't know. BlackRock might have some Evergrande bonds, but BlackRock and Vanguard, they hold all kinds of assets everywhere around the world. So I'm not sure whether it would affect BlackRock. Tether is Juan Crespo is asking what Tether is. It's supposed to be a stable coin. Basically, it's supposed to be pegged to the US dollar, and it's supposed to be have a backing of 1-to-1 to the US dollar, but it doesn't. Uh, Will H says Kazakhstan, the second largest country for Bitcoin mining. Yeah, they have. I'm not. I don't know about that, whether they are, but yeah, they've turned off a lot of in Almaty at least, even in the capital where there isn't as much mayhem. They've turned off a lot of the communications. There's a guy from RT. He was there, and he couldn't call out. They had to call him there. So yes, it's disrupted. Alan Zilberman, I know how much I don't know, so I'm ahead of the curve. Yeah, that's the thing about Kazakhstan. Uh, First of all, when it came out about a week ago, I thought, oh yeah, they're protesting about energy prices, and that's true. And then I thought about, well, it's very strategic for the Silk Road, new Silk Road. So I thought, oh, maybe the West, the petrodollar, they're trying to disrupt that. And then I said, before I come to any conclusions and talk to you about it, I'm going to look into Kazakhstan. And the more I looked over the weekend, the more questions arose. And I'm going to show you this again, because some of you might not have seen this. But if you look at here, this is the guy who's really probably still in charge of Kazakhstan. What's his name? Nur Sultan Nazarbayev. He was president from 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed till 2019. Some people still think he's really the guy in charge. There's another guy there now, the president. But if I did some studying here or research, and look at him, that's with Tony Blair with the Freemasonic handshake. And here he is. He was a communist official in the Soviet Union, 1962 to 1991. Just because the Soviet Union collapsed, does it really mean that he's not a communist anymore? I don't think so. And look at this as well, which made me think twice. So whether this is West versus East, I think this is a lot bigger fight. This is something we don't even know what's going on, but could be very interesting. He's a honorary knight of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. So this is a British crown honor. And there he is, ex-president of, and basically he's the guy who owns the country. It's a very oligarchical system. And here we are, Grand Orient Freemasonry unmasked as the secret power behind communism. Well, this book was written in 1884. So I haven't read it yet, but I think it could be worth reading. And this is the capital of this country, Nur Sultana. Is it? Yeah, Nur Sultan, the capital. Used to be called Astana, but look at this symbolism. This is like a Freemasonry symbol. Look at the dollar bill. This is the capital there. You kind of wonder, are the people fed up with the establishment there? Is it really George Soros trying to disrupt the One Belt, One Road, or is it much bigger? Is it above George Soros? Is it above Putin? It's really interesting, I think. Og, all major leaders are in the club. I agree. That's why I think the fact that I saw the pictures from RT and other news companies. It was in the tens of thousands of people. They took over Almaty, is a city of 1.8 million people. Yeah. Will H says Rothschilds and the Khazarian mafia. Yeah, there you go. I mean, if the people in Kazakhstan are rising up against these people, that's quite interesting. Maybe all the talk about Soros, Russia, the neocons is just a distraction. Who knows? Juan Crespo thinks it's a battle for the new reserve currency. It could be because, yeah, the One Belt, One Road. I also saw that the new Chancellor of Germany, and I think I've got an article here, and this was from recent as well. Olaf Scholz, he's very pro-Chinese. He was the mayor of Hamburg, the major port in Germany. So it says Olaf Scholz hugs China close, but Germany first policy risks US and EU wrath. New chancellor's embrace of Beijing, despite genocide claims, puts him at odds with Biden and his own coalition partners. So, yeah, this is quite significant as well, because I showed you earlier about who controls Central Eastern Europe. You need to control that part of the world as well to control the world islands. And Germany is really important. If they gravitate more towards Russia and China, that won't be good for the Anglo-American Empire. Kazakhstan is also part of that because they're really strategic for the Silk Road, the One Belt, One Road. And as I said earlier, Kazakhstan is the ninth, I think it's the ninth biggest country in terms of land area. It's almost 5 times the area of France, and it's the biggest landlocked country in the world. Graham Hobbs says, if you want to get to the very top, then you will go off-world. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really, I haven't done as much research on that probably as you. MW351, Tony Blair was just knighted. Well, yeah, he was given the Order of the Garter as well. I think there's more than 1 million signatures to try to petition for them to rescind that decision. I don't think they will. The sheeple shouldn't have a say, according to them, about these things. But it's gonna piss people off, and I think maybe the people in Kazakhstan or Kazakhstan have been pissed off. They've pissed them off to the point where they're rising up. Some people might argue that maybe the West triggered that. They threw a spark there. Maybe that's true, but I'm not too sure. But so changing the subject a bit about geopolitics, Kazakhstan and the One Belt, One Road, West, East. The most important thing, and a lot of you who have been listening to me for a while, most important thing, in my opinion, is to keep our heads down right now. I think the world hasn't been this, in this situation for decades, if not hundreds of years. I think we're experiencing like the death knell of the world reserve currency, of this fiat currency credit induced world that we've had since basically since Nixon closed the gold window in 1971. And I think it's going to get worse. I don't think the economies of the world, especially the US and Europe, are doing as well as they tell us. I made a video yesterday because the White House tweeted out that the Biden administration is creating more jobs than any president ever. But I went through the data, and it's a case of lies, dem lies, and statistics. So I highly recommend, if you haven't yet watched, that you watch my video. I did it yesterday night, last night. I usually don't do a video on Saturday night, but I did. So I the title of the YouTube video that I did is "The Biden Economic Miracle?" question mark. So you will see what I mean, and I think it applies to the rest of the Western world, especially UK, Western Europe. Silver Highwayman talking about Freemasonry. Swan Silver, hi Mario, Cheshire Silver and all. Tony Blair's wealthy little puppet. Yep. Rochelle Fernandez says you're pronouncing Kazakhstan perfectly like a native. Don't let these people second guess you. I've never been there. Maybe you have. Billy is calm. Yeah, he's all right, Billy. We've been out twice today. I played golf yesterday, actually, and it wasn't a nice day. Today was a nice day, but I decided to play yesterday morning. It was rainy. I got very wet, and it was cold and windy. But yeah, there's a term people say, "Oh, are you a fair weather golfer?" I'm not, but I'd rather play if it's really nice. But one thing it does is that you play in difficult conditions whenever, and then you go and play normal conditions. It becomes easier. So it's good to help you mentally, because golf is a mental game. Rochelle Fernandez, thank you for your super chat. Richard Martin, aloha Mario, just joined. David Bradley, elitist New World Order, Illuminati, and their strongmen armed groups like BIS, Fed, etc. all got to go. I agree, and I've been speaking here for like Richard Martin, who just joined. I've been doing a lot of research about Kazakhstan over the last few days, and what I found was really surprising. The government there, they signed an agreement with the World Economic Forum to get involved in the fourth industrial revolution in 2020, just before the pandemic. And they are a driving force behind the green economy. And even though they have a lot of resources and energy, they're trying to move away from renewables. And I bet that a lot of the protests over there are because of that. And it's happening in Europe as well. Like in Germany, they're closing down nuclear power plants and going into renewables. So yeah, that's my view. It's really, as I said before, it's not as black and white what's going on there. And it actually could be positive in terms of people waking up. Who would have thought that the people in Kazakhstan are waking up to the globalists? Even though we're told that it's a proxy battle between West and East, I'm not too sure. Gold and Silver that says that regular people have a lot of money over there in Kazakhstan. Well, I've been watching a few reports from RT, DW, and even from Western mainstream media. And what I hear from the ground from reporters over there is that they have an oligarchical system, and the capital looks really really beautiful and everything, but it's just a veneer. And there's a lot of wealth inequality, and people are very unhappy. So I'm not too sure about that. The Great Closet 2022, the year of the collapse. Well, I think we've been collapsing since really September 2019, when the repo crisis started. We are in the collapse. If you don't think the world we live in isn't is no, if you think the world we live in is normal, well then I think you're not really looking very clearly. Things are not normal, and I think it's a symptom of the collapse. They're keeping it together by like yeah, like when a tennis player, not that I care much about tennis, even though I used to play tennis a long time ago, when he can't travel to a country like Australia to play a tournament he's won 9 times, and he's kept in prison literally over there, then the world's not normal. When I can't travel freely wherever I want in the world's not normal. Mark Carney, no, he hasn't been knighted, not that I know of. The thing is it really worth anything anymore, these honors? I don't think so. I think it's a bad thing to have, actually. It doesn't say much about you. Carthago Delenta thinks they're doing lockdowns to curb money velocity. I don't think it will work. It's going to get even worse, because when you do lockdowns, you hurt people's psychology. You hurt, people are not sure anymore if they can do things, so they don't travel as much. And you put small businesses out of business. Only the big corporations survive, and then there's not as much competition. And there's when there's not as much competition, prices go up. So I don't think money velocity means anything. And a lot of the deflationists have been talking about this money velocity for the last 2, 3 years. And despite the fact that it hasn't picked up money velocity, have you seen how much prices are rising, the cost of living? So I don't think it really matters. I think it's going to be even worse. Yes, Augie Og, I have seen that. Footballers. I saw there's in Sweden, there's like a New Year race. It's called the San Sylvester running race. And like a top athlete or runner in Sweden, I think his surname was Carlson. He collapsed and died in the New Year's race, San Sylvester race, or Sylvester race. So a lot going on. We don't know why this is happening. We have of course, our ideas about it. The mainstream is saying, "Oh no, it's just normal." Uh, GKHLAU 1951. Thank you for your super chat. Free energy. Yeah, I mean, the real free energy, I think the big proponent was Tesla, and not the Tesla today that's run by Elon Musk, but the original Nikola Tesla. He had a lot of experiments where he extracted free energy from, I think it was the stratosphere. And yeah, but look what happened to Tesla. He was kind of not eliminated, if you want to say the word, or neutralized by big oil and the bankers. Yeah, the Tesla towers, John. Yeah, I think he had one on Long Island, one of the towers. And I think all you would need is a few towers in different places. And then, for example, your automobile or your car, you'd have a little antenna, and that would connect to that free energy. And it would be, yeah, but it would put a lot of oil companies out of business, wouldn't it? Phil Frost, I think money velocity is basically measured by the amount of money in the money supply divided, or let's say M2 divided by the GDP. So that's how they do it. Uh, yeah, I think what is it? It's the let's see, GDP, money supply. So yeah, if the money, yeah, it's GDP divided by money supply. So if GDP doesn't go up that much, like it didn't do in 2020, but the money supply grows, that velocity, yeah, it doesn't go, it drops. It's like a smaller fraction. But if the economy grows and the money supply shrinks, the velocity goes up. But what we've had is a massive amount of money and credit in the economy. GDP hasn't really grown, or if it has, it's because of government spending. So it doesn't matter about velocity. No, it's M2 divided by really the GDP, because GDP is the activity in the economy. But as I said, I don't think velocity is irrelevant at all, because also since they started QE in '08, they've moved out a lot of the bank reserves into the Fed's balance sheet. So it's actually made money velocity look a lot weaker. If you look after '08, money velocity has gone through the floor. But I'm sorry, we're having currency debasement, which is higher prices, the consequence of inflation. We got 3 minutes. I'll take a few more questions. Tim Gibson says gold is like a compressed spring. So is silver, I think, the charts look bullish. And I think we haven't spoken much about gold and silver tonight, but the gold closed relatively well Friday night, just below 1800, despite everything that happened last week. Pat researched the secret society of the 9 unknown men. Then we understand why we don't have advanced technology with energy from Tesla. The society goes back 2,500 years. Firestar says Marius channel is where it's at tonight. Thank you. Let other people know that as well. We need to, I want to get up to like a lot more subscribers. Not that the number is important, but I'm up to like 58,000. It would be nice to see it grow a little quicker. It's slowed down recently. Richard Martin, do you think Bitcoin will peak again in 2025 according to the 4-year halving cycle? I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far. I mean, Bitcoin peaked already last year at 68 or 69,000. Maybe if we have a huge correct, we already have had a big correction. I'm not too sure. I think there's a lot of factors there about Bitcoin and cryptos. I recommend the Morgan report. They've been looking at cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. They call it the crypto conspiracy. How actually Jeffrey Epstein, Harvard, MIT, a lot of people could be involved. Even the former Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury, sorry, Larry Summers could all be involved in cryptocurrencies. And I don't like the fact that the bankers are getting involved either, because cryptos and Bitcoin was supposed to replace the bankers and be an alternative. But now Wall Street is getting involved. So I don't think it's a good thing, personally. I guess the cycle does look, there is like a 4-year cycle. Where will the bottom be, and will we pick up again and maybe go to 100,000 in 2025? Who knows? There were some people who thought we're going to 200,000 in 2021, but we didn't. So with that, I'm going to wish you all, a nice rest of the day, be it Sunday or Monday. Some of you are in Asia, Australia, or New Zealand, and I'll talk to you later. And thank you very much for being here. And take care.